Hey everyone, it's Jess. This case has three defendants, so it is going to be in multiple parts to break it up. It is a unaliving case with three defendants. I did some research, and one of the defendants was actually arrested and extradited from Georgia. This case happened, I want to say it was in June, and it happened on Facebook Live. Obviously, I'm not going to be trying to get any of that footage. This case does have three defendants, Bonner, Walker, and Pitts. So it's the state of Michigan v. Bonner, Walker, and Pitts. It is a tough case. I have a feeling it's going to end up being demonetized, even with me editing out all of the words that would get flagged. So if you would like to further support my channel, down in the description is the link for memberships for my channel, which would give you actually exclusive content, extra fun stuff, and per usual is the link for Luna's BarkBox habit if you'd like to support that. For my disclaimers, I am not an attorney. I am not making any legal conclusions, nor am I offering any advice. All comments are my opinion, and all persons are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Well, let's get started.
Call your next witness.
Martina Bonner to the stand.
For the sake of stand, Your Honor, wanted to make sure that for purposes of YouTube, are we able to black out the
You look up on black.
perfect, Your Honor. Thank you. I appreciate that. Really would, but has been.
Yeah, I know. You were just checking, right? I've been doing this a minute. I got it. That's the only one that catches it. That one doesn't catch it.
Where you have to see, raise your right hand. You solemnly swear and affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Go ahead, have a seat. State your first and last name and spell it for the record, please.
Martina Bonner, M-A-R-T-I-T-A.
Main court.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Bonner. I'm Lou Danner. I'm going to ask you questions. If you don't understand one of my questions or you cannot hear me, just let me know, okay?
Yes.
You do try to make sure to keep your voice raised.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead.
And so I want to start with some preliminary matters. Ms. Bonner, is it fair to say that currently we're being housed in the Washington County Jail?
Yes.
Okay. And you have an attorney by the name of
Yes.
Right. And is it also fair to say that you've had several conversations while your attorney was present with law enforcement from the Washington County Sheriff's Department?
Yes.
You in fact spoken with me as prosecutor as well,
Yes.
and you spoke with my colleague, Mr. Andrew Chill.
Yes.
And in this matter, is it your understanding that a part of a potential deal in this case with yourself is that you were required to truthfully testify about your observation on the 28th of June?
Yes.
So I want to start with a couple names and you let me know if you know who these people are, okay?
Yes.
All right, first I want to start with Sharif Bonner. Do you know him?
Yes, I do.
How do you know Sharif Bonner?
He is my nephew.
All right, and so as your nephew, it's fair to say you've known Sharif Bonner his whole life.
Yes.
All right, do you see Sharif Bonner here in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Could you please point to him and identify him by something he's wearing? Your Honor, if we could, please.
Okay,
make
hold
sure
on,
that-
hold on. Those individuals will not be permitted back in the courtroom. Go ahead.
Could you, identify Sharif Bonner?
Yes.
All right, and, is he, seated next to a gentleman wearing a gray suit coat?
Yes, he is.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the witness have identified the defendant Sharif Bonner.
Without objection, record shall so reflect.
All right, do you know an individual by the name of Tyree Pitts?
Yes, I do.
And how do you know Tyree Pitts?
Friend of the family,
Friend of the family?
yes.
Would you happen to know his parents or his mom?
I know his mother,
You know his mother? And do you see Tyree Pitts in the courtroom today?
yes, I do.
Could you please point to him and identify him by something? All right, is he wearing a green jumpsuit?
Yes, he is.
And is he seated next to a gentleman wearing glasses and what I will call a brownish suit coat?
Yes,
Your Honor, may the record reflect that the witness has identified Tyree Pitts.
Without objection, record shall so reflect.
Do you know an individual by the name of Andre Walker?
yes, I do.
And how do you know Andre Walker?
He is my son-in-law.
All right, and do you know an individual by the name of Corian Brown?
Yes, I do.
And how do you know Corian Brown?
He is my nephew.
All right, and what about Jeremiah Caspian?
Yes, I do.
And how do you know her?
She is my cousin.
Now, the people that I've named, I want to talk to you about June 28th of this year. Do you recall that day?
Yes, I do.
All the people I've named, Sharif Bonner, Tyree Pitts, Corian Brown, Andre Walker. Did you have interactions with those individuals on the 28th of June?
Yes, I do.
If you recall, where was the first time on the 28th that you had a personal interaction with the defendant, Sharif Bonner?
Sharif Bonner came to my apartment early that morning.
And where is that apartment? Okay, it's Lanning.
Yes.
All righty, and so what was going on when Mr. Bonner came to your apartment?
He was on Facebook, and just saying that we were gonna go to my mother's house, basically.
Okay,
He was on Facebook talking, social media.
so he was on Facebook talking.
Yes, it was social media friends.
Okay, and so while Sharif's on Facebook talking, you guys eventually decided you're gonna go to your mother's residence,
Yes, we did.
right? And that would make that person Sharif's grandmother.
Yes.
All right. So do you go together to?
No, we go on two separate cars.
Okay, and what type of vehicle were you driving?
Black Ford Fusion,
All right, and what type of vehicle, if you recall, was Sharif Bonner driving?
a white Ford Fusion.
A white Ford Fusion. Would you happen to know who that Ford Fusion belonged to? And how do you know?
She is, Sharif's baby's mother.
Okay, so you're in your black Ford Fusion, Sharif in the car of his baby's mother, driving to your grandma, I'm sorry, his grandmother's house?
Yes.
All right, and where is where is your mother's house located?
My mom stays,
George Place, is that a house, an apartment building?
that's an apartment.
An apartment.
Yes,
George Place, do you know if that's located in Atlantic?
yes, it is.
All right, and that's Washington County?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so when you get over to your mother's house, does the defendant, Sharif Bonner, arrive thereafter?
Yes, we're there together.
Okay, and is it a short distance between where your initial apartment is and to where your mother resides?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and now that we're at, you said George Place?
Yes.
All right, now that we're at George Place, is there anyone else at George Place? Does Andre Walker come to George Place?
Yes, Andre Walker, my daughter, showing me picture.
Okay, and so your daughter and Andre Walker show up at George Place, they drive in their own vehicle?
They're in their own vehicle.
And what type of vehicle?
They have like a Ford truck. I don't know, if it's like a Ford truck.
Some kind of truck or SUV
Yeah,
type?
SUV type.
All right, and at that point in time, is Tyree Pitts at George Place?
No, he's not.
All right, and what about Corian Brown?
Corian Brown is there.
Okay, so now you're at George Place, we have Sharif, Corian, Andre Walker. What's going on?
Right inside, Sharif is still on Facebook. The music is playing in my car radio. They're outside in my car radio. We're kind of in and out the door. Sharif is on Facebook and they're just hyped up listening to music.
All right, and do you happen to know what is causing Sharif to be hyped up or what he's talking about on Facebook?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to why. I mean, that calls for speculation.
I actually guess what he said.
Rephrase the question. I'll sustain the objection.
Do you recall what the defendant was saying, the defendant Sharif Bonner, while he was on Facebook?
No, I can't remember.
And did the name Terrell Smith come up?
Yes, it did.
By who?
Sharif,
Okay, and who is Terrell Smith to you?
he's friend of the family as well.
Okay, so you know Terrell, or you knew Terrell Smith?
Yeah, I've known him for many years.
Many years, okay.
Yes.
And so while you're watching Sharif on Facebook, he's making commentary about Terrell Smith?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. That's not what she said. She said she doesn't remember what he said.
I'm going to sustain the objection.
Your Honor, if I may, Your Honor, she said, did the subject matter of Terrell Smith come up? She said, yes, he was talking about Terrell
Right,
Smith.
but that wasn't your question.
It was commentary about Terrell Smith. I didn't give a single statement at all.
I've sustained the objection. Rephrase.
During that time frame, was there any statements being made by the defendant in regards to Terrell Smith?
I can't remember. I heard his name. I heard my nephew say his name, but I can't remember the conversation, like what
What she said.
said over the Facebook.
Okay, so without going over the exact subject matter, is it your recollection that you heard the defendant mentioning the name of Terrell Smith?
Yes,
All right, and at the time in which this is occurring, is this still on Facebook Live?
yes, it is.
All right, and as this is going on Facebook Live, or is this going on outside or inside the apartment at Georgetown?
It's outside.
It's outside?
Yes,
Okay, now, outside with Sharif Bonner, is Corian Brown present?
yes,
Is Andre Walker present?
yes,
All right, and then do you eventually come outside as well?
yes, I do.
All right, and do you guys stay at George Place for the whole night?
No,
You wind up leaving George Place?
yes, we do.
All right, when you say we wind up leaving George Place, who you mean as we?
Myself, my sister Shantia, Corian, Sharif, Andre, Sherman, and Antonio.
Okay. Now, is it still just two vehicles?
Just two vehicles.
Okay. And so, do you know why you were leaving George Place?
We were initially leaving going to West Willow.
Why were you going to West Willow?
There was going to be a fight,
How do you know there was going to be a fight?
because my nephew had stated that he wanted to fight Joe.
Your nephew who?
Sharif.
So when did your nephew Sharif Bonner say he wanted to fight Terrell Smith?
I see it earlier on my nephew's Facebook page, and I was on his live as well. And he was just stating on his live, like, he didn't know, he's like, who is this old man, and I put his hands on him. So we initially knew that, wanted to fight him at that point.
Okay, and so was it beyond what was said on Facebook? Was there anything that was said to you to get you to know that you were going to West Willow?
No, I just assumed,
And why did you assume that you were just going to West Willow?
because of the confrontation that was going on Facebook between my nephew and Terrell at the time.
Could you please describe that confrontation?
I didn't, like I said, I can't remember, I wasn't on Terrell's live. We were just getting messages that he was on live, basically, reacting to Sharif's Facebook live as well. So it was both of them going back and forth at that time.
So two individuals going back and forth on Facebook?
Yes,
Okay, and then, you correct me if I'm wrong, but at some point, the decision has to get made that you're gonna leave where you are and go somewhere else.
it wasn't a decision. I didn't hear any decision, to be honest. The white car was pulling out and was leaving out of my mom's apartment, and I just followed it.
So before the white car pulls out, do you know at all where you're going?
I assumed Westwood.
Okay, now at the time in which, now you said that you were assumed West Willow, does, to your knowledge, did Terrell Smith stay in the West Willow neighborhood?
His mother, to my knowledge.
His mother stayed there?
Yes.
All right, now, was there any attempts, to your knowledge, to find the location of Terrell Smith?
Yes,
All right, who was asking for the location of Terrell Smith?
I was,
All right, and why were you asking for his location?
because I wanted my nephew to go over and fight.
Okay, and so when you're at, Your Honor, if we could ask everyone in the gallery to keep any comments, and whatever else themselves.
I heard it. I'll take care of it, Mr. Go ahead.
So in regards to you getting the address, how did you go about doing it?
I was on the phone with my cousin Julia.
Okay, and so were you talking to Jamia about getting the address?
Yes, I did.
Alrighty, and was she able to supply you with the address?
Yes,
Alrighty, and then, so, but let me just make sure, I want to back up a little bit. So you get this address,
yes.
right? But you're not the first car to leave George Place apartment?
No, I'm behind them. It's the second car.
Okay, so when you got the address, was Sharif Bonner in your presence when you got the address?
I can't remember that, if he was.
Okay, and in regards to where you were when you got this address, where were you?
I was sitting in a car.
You were sitting in, was it your car?
My gift, yes.
Okay, and do you recall at all where Mr. Bonner was at the time?
I believe we're all outside.
We're all out, you're all
Yeah, we're
outside?
all outside, yes.
Okay, and then you get the address. Once you get the address, what happens next?
The address that Jamia gave me was not his mother's address. She gave me his address where he lived, where his primary address was. So it wasn't his mother's address.
Okay, so the address you get is not an address in West Willow.
No, it's not. It's his address that I guess his primary lives at.
Okay, so once you're given an address that's not in West Willow, what happens?
I follow the white Ford Fusion out of my mother's apartment complex.
Okay, so I want to get on to the Ford Fusion out of leaving George Place apartment, right? To your knowledge, who is in the white vehicle?
And from my knowledge, who was in the white vehicle, Corian, Shomi, Antonio, and Sheree. And did I say Andre?
Yes, you said Corian, Sheree, Charmonique, and Andre,
Yes, and Antonio.
and Antonio. So there's 5 people in that white vehicle?
Yes,
All right, and then what about your vehicle?
myself and my sister Shantia.
Okay, so at the time in which you pull off, you're following the white Ford Fusion?
Yes, I am.
All right, at the point in time in which you pull off to follow that white Ford Fusion, do you know where that white vehicle is headed?
No, not at the time.
All right, had you heard any statements about any stops or detours that were gonna get made before you left?
No, not that I can remember.
Okay, so before you left, it was your understanding or belief that you were going to West Willow?
Yes,
Okay, but the address that you received in regards to Terrell Smith was not the West Willow address.
no, it was not.
And so was it just the circumstances that led you to have that belief that you were going to West Willow?
Yes,
All right, and what circumstances were those that led you to believe you were going to West Willow?
the confrontation that Terrell and Sheree was having that morning over Facebook Live.
Okay, now, when you say in the morning, just so I get a time reference, did all these events transpire in the AM, like the actual morning time?
Yes,
So before noon?
yes,
Okay. So when the vehicles take off and you're following the white Ford Fusion, is that right?
yes.
All right. So you pull out of George Place. What happened?
We go into Bryn Mawr.
Bryn Mawr?
It's
Bryn
Bryn Mawr
Mawr?
Apartments, yes,
All right, and those are apartment buildings?
yes, it is.
Who lives at Bryn Mawr apartment buildings to your knowledge?
My nephew Sheree,
So that's Sharif Bonner's residence?
yes,
All right. Now, when you go to Bryn Mawr, you follow the white vehicle to Bryn Mawr?
yes, I do.
All right, and when you arrive at Bryn Mawr, what happened?
I arrived, Andre, Antonio, and Sheree is still in the Ford Fusion. When I arrived, Jamia is there. And I noticed, Tyree, Corian, and Sheree coming out
Out of the unit?
out of the apartment complex. I mean, out of the unit, the building.
The building.
Yes.
Okay, so when you arrive there, you see Tyree,
Yes,
Sharif,
Yes,
and Corian all exiting Sharif Bonner's apartment.
yes,
Do you notice if anything is in the hands of Sharif Bonner when he leaves his apartment?
yes.
What did you notice in the hands of Sharif Bonner?
A large,
Large gun, like a long gun,
long,
kind of like a rifle style?
yes,
Okay, and that's in the hands of your nephew Sharif Bonner?
yes it is.
All right, now I want to make sure I understand something here. Before leaving George Place, you had never, Tyrese Pitts had not been around your apartment or the apartment at George Place, is that right?
No, it hasn't.
And at no point in time did you ever have any communication with Tyrese Pitts?
No,
All right, so the first time where you see Tyrese Pitts is when Sharif Bonner comes out of his apartment with Tyrese Pitts.
yes,
All right, and there's three people that come out of that apartment, Corian, Tyree, and Sharif.
yes.
All right, so now Sharif comes out, he has, what happens?
He first enters in my vehicle and I give him like a look, like you're absolutely not, this is not gonna happen.
Did you have to say anything to him?
No, I just looked at him. Me and him had eye to eye contact.
So he looked you in your eye.
He looked me in my eye.
All right, and what kind of face were you giving him?
Absolutely not. Like, it's not gonna happen.
All right, and then so when you give Sharif the absolutely not face, and he makes eye contact with you, how does Sharif react?
He gets out of my vehicle and gets into his vehicle.
In Jamia's vehicle. Now, do you recall what type of vehicle Jamia was driving?
He has like a large SUV.
Or should be a red one?
I don't know. I was the SUV.
So at that point in time, we have another vehicle, so Jamia arrives in her vehicle.
Yes,
Okay, and so we have three vehicles now at Bryn Mawr Apartment,
yes, we do.
a white Ford Fusion, your black Ford Fusion,
Yes,
and then Jamia's vehicle.
yes,
All right, and then you see Sharif Bonner get into the vehicle of Jamia.
yes,
Do you see where Tyree Pitts goes?
yes.
Where did he go?
He goes to the back seat behind you on the driver's side.
Okay, on the driver's side, back seat.
Yes,
Of the SUV.
of the SUV, yes.
All right, and do you know where Corian goes?
Corian goes into the white Ford Fusion.
To the white Ford Fusion, all right,
Yes.
and that was a Ford Fusion that initially, Sharif Bonner had arrived to your apartment in,
Yes,
and that he went to George Place in,
yes,
and that belongs to his, baby's mother?
yes,
All right, and so when you were at Bryn Mawr and everyone's getting in the vehicles, now that Sharif has got into the red vehicle, do you know who drives that white one?
Andre,
Andre Walker?
yes,
Okay, so now you have three vehicles,
yes.
and do you see any other beyond Sharif holding up at that point in time?
No,
All right, so when you all leave, so now, when you leave to go from Bryn Mawr Apartment, so those are also in,
yes,
it's Lenny Township kind of area?
yes.
All righty, and so who leaves first?
Jamia leads,
So Jamia leaves,
yes,
and Jamia is the individual driving Sharif Bonner
yes,
and Tyree Pitts,
yes,
and they leave first.
yes.
All right, and then who follows?
I do,
You follow,
yes,
and then who follows after that?
the white Ford Fusion.
The white Ford Fusion. So you all three are traveling together.
Yes, we are.
All right. Now, where do you go when you leave Bryn Mawr Apartment?
We're heading to Nash Street.
Heading to Nash Street.
Yes, we are.
Okay. And looking for Terrell.
Yes,
So you turn on the Nash Street, is that right?
yes, we do.
Do you eventually get to Terrell Smith's house?
Yes, we do. We get to his mother's house.
His mother's house,
Yes,
right? And it's a residence that you understand is his mother's residence?
yes, I do.
Okay, and so if you can walk us through what happens when you start to roll up on to Terrell Smith's mother's house.
I pull up, I roll around the truck to find a park. So I passed Julia to find a park because I want to get out and basically videotape the fight.
And sorry, just when you say to find a park, you mean a place to
Yeah,
park?
like a place to park.
Okay,
So I was gonna need to go on the side street or find a place to park. So as I'm doing that, I'm going down the street basically to find out where I want to park. I hear my nephew, he says, of the word, she says, "What's up?" And then I hear shooting them. They went there so fast.
okay, and I want to slow it down. I understand that happened very fast, but I'm gonna try to slow it down a little bit before we can. So when you pull around,
Yes,
the red vehicle or the
Yes.
vehicle driven by Jamia,
yes,
the SUV, okay. And then as you're looking for a place to stop the vehicle, you hear your nephew.
I hear Sharif.
All right, and is all of this going on behind you then?
Yes, it is.
All right, now, so as you hear the ring off, did you ever look behind you?
I didn't look behind me. I looked in my rear view mirror.
All right, so from your rear view mirror, what did you see?
I seen Tyree shooting towards Terrell.
All right, and did you see what kind of Tyree had?
The very large black.
The one that you saw being carried out by Sharif Bonner?
Yes,
Okay. And so are you hearing mock at this time?
yes. I thought it was a shoot out at that point. I thought that they were shooting at each other.
So it was so many rounds, it made you believe there was a shootout going.
Yes,
Okay. Did you see only, and as far as from your vantage point, so we have in our car, you got the mirror that's inside the car, the one that's right there, and you got your side mirrors.
yes.
Are you looking at the one that's in your vehicle or the side mirror?
I'm in the side mirror.
Looking in the side mirror,
Yes,
right? So that will let you see what is majority on your side of
Yes.
the door?
yes,
Okay, and that's where you were focused at.
yes,
All right, and then, so after you see Tyree come out with the long gun and start shooting at Terrell Smith, what do you do?
I put my car in drive and begin to hit the gas. I believe I don't know, I'm not sure if I looked back or looked in my car window to see if Jamia was heading out. I can't remember which one I did, but I did this or looked up, I can't remember, but it was really fast. And I seen her moving, so I hit the gas and started moving as well.
So the red or the Jamia's vehicle starts to move and you start to move,
Yes,
and you guys take off.
yes.
All right, where did you go when you left, as soon as you left Nash, where did you go?
I hit an end road, we got out of West Road, down 8 Course Road.
Okay, now, who's in front of, who's leading this pack here?
Before I turn, my nephew tells me he goes on his window and tells me we're going to Jamie's house.
You say your nephew told you mean Sharif Bonner?
Sharif tells me we're going to Jamie's house.
All right, and he's seated in Jamia's vehicle?
Yes, he is.
So he tells you you're going to Jamie's house.
Yes,
Who is Jamie?
Jamie is my youngest sister.
Is your sister?
Yes.
So that'll make Jamie Sharif's auntie.
Yes,
So he tells you that you're going to your sister's house, his auntie's house,
yes,
right? And then at that point, does he take over leading the pack?
yeah, he needs.
All right, now are you following?
Andre Walker comes in front of me, and then I go behind him.
And so now we're traveling down the course.
Yes,
Right.
we are.
Do you make any stops?
Yes, we do.
Can you please describe to us how this stop occurred?
I'm down the course, Sharif sways me down at a gas station. I pull in, and he's telling me, put it in the car, put it in your car.
And now that Sharif is asking you to take these guns.
Hold one moment. Ma'am, I'm not gonna have any more of those sounds. You're gonna have to leave the courtroom. Second time, right there. That young lady right there. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Tanner.
So I just want to, if you could kind of impress upon us, when Sharif asked you to put these in your vehicle, what's going on in your mind?
I'm scared, I'm panicking. And I'm trying at the same time to protect him.
Okay, so, and I understand that the nephew, and so as being his auntie, what do you do when he makes his request?
Pull out the gas station, go down the side street, wait for him.
And then what happens?
About 2 to 5 minutes, they pull in, they see me on the side street, Jamia pulls in behind me. I get out, I pop the trunk.
And when you pop the trunk, what happens?
In there, I shut it.
And when you say he, who's that?
My nephew Sharif.
So Sharif Bonner takes, now you said that plural, did he play more than one?
At that time, I didn't know it was more than one.
Right, and did you eventually find out that it was more than one?
After the fact.
And when you mean after the fact, you mean after all of this occurred, or was there some point later in the day that you found this out?
After all, once I took the gun out of my vehicle.
Okay, so let's work our way there. So did you physically put or put the stuff in your trunk of your vehicle, or did the defendant Sharif Bonner do that?
Sharif put the gun in the vehicle.
Okay, and then after they were placed in your vehicle, what happened?
We're at my sister Jamie's house.
All right, so you guys drive over to Jamie's?
Yes,
All right, and then so when you get to Jamie's, does Jamie live out of the county?
yes, she does.
Okay, so you drive over, you guys go to Jamie's house, and are the in your trunk when you arrive at Jamie's house?
Yes, they are.
Okay, and as guns are in your trunk, you all arrive to Jamie's house. Does the white car come to Jamie's house?
They were there before I arrived.
They were there before you arrived,
Yes.
and in regards to the vehicle driven by Jamia, was that vehicle at Jamie's house as well?
Yes, it was.
Okay, and so once you all get there, and there's guns in your trunk, what happens?
I don't take them out immediately, we just go into Jamie's house.
All right, and what's the mood like when you get to Jamie's house?
Some of us scared, frantic, maybe adrenaline is pumping a whole lot. Really no big conversation, it's just what happened. My nephew stated tired.
Your Honor, oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Killaway?
Your Honor, I apologize, I interrupted before she finished, I'm sorry.
So you're saying your nephew stated to Tyree. So are you saying Sharif Bonner stated to Tyree Pitts?
Yes,
Please continue.
said to him, I didn't know that you were gonna blow it like
And does Tyree Pitts give a response?
that. No, he does not.
And so at this point, when this conversation is still going on, there's
Yes, it is.
all right. So when does the decision get made that you need to get out of your trunk?
After they arrived back from the store, they went to a store.
Who are they?
Jamia, Sharif, and I think Tyree went to a store, like a clothing store.
They went to a clothing store?
Or something.
Okay, and and when they arrived back, did you see them?
Yes,
Did they have on different clothes than when you saw them earlier that morning?
yes,
Or did both of them seem to have brand new outfits on?
yes, I
All right, so once they arrive back, they are now in their new outfits. How do they get out of your trunk?
go out there and get them.
Okay, so you go out and grab them?
Yes,
All right, and then so once you grab them out of your trunk, what do you go do?
I put them in my sister's living room.
All right, that's Jamie's living room?
Yes,
All right, and then, so is that when you find out that there are more than one?
yes,
And so we already accounted for that you saw, was that one of the trunk?
yes,
And was there a gun in your trunk?
yes, it was.
So yeah, and so a pistol and a gun was removed from your trunk, right?
Yes,
All right, and then once you put those firearms in your sister's living room, do you see those firearms again?
what do you mean?
Like after, so you bring them in, you
Yes,
sit them in the living room. Do you touch them again?
no,
All right, Do you see anyone touch them after that?
Yes,
Who do you see touching after you bring them in?
Corian,
And what is Corian doing?
clean the camera off.
I'm sorry.
Could you repeat
She
that?
said,
Clean the camera off.
So Corian is cleaning the hand off, right? And then do you say anything to Corian?
Yes, I do.
What did you say to him?
He's gonna wash his hands.
You told him to wash his hands?
Yes,
Why?
because I was thinking he had gunpowder.
So after you see them being cleaned, do you have any other interactions with Sharif or Tyree that day? All right, and so do you do anything with, so we know your black vehicle, and then you got your Leah's vehicle that had left and come back, and the white vehicle, right? Did you do anything in regards to that white vehicle?
Yes, I did.
What did you do in regards to that white vehicle?
I went out and took gun shells out of it.
So you're saying that there were shell casings inside of that white vehicle? Where did you locate those at?
The back seat.
The back seat?
Yes,
And did you locate multiple?
yes,
Right, and then in regards to the back seat of that vehicle, do you know Corian Brown was in the back seat of that white vehicle?
yes,
He was? Oh, and you recall if he was seated behind Andre Walker?
yes,
So he was seated on the driver's side then?
yes.
1 second.
mm-hmm.
Well, kids, I want to circle back to something in regards to what occurred on Nash. Well, I understand that if you guys all pull up on Nash, and I know you pull up further ahead of other individuals passing the residence. At the time in which you passed the residence, did you see Terrell?
Yes,
And so where did you see Terrell?
he was outside.
Outside?
Yes,
And at the point in time in which you, let me just ask you this. If it would have been explained to you that we're about to go here and go shoot this house up, would you have done?
no,
Did anyone inform you that we're gonna go shoot this house on Nash and shoot that house up?
no,
All right, in regards to the going to Bryn Mawr, when you went to Bryn Mawr, did you understand that to be a plan? To shoot up Terrell Smith's house, mother's house?
no,
All right, and were you privileged to the interactions that went along with Tyree Pitts, Sharif Bonner, and Corian Brown when they were all together in Sharif's apartment?
when they were inside there?
Yeah.
No, no,
And at no point in time had you discussed Tyree Pitts or knew about Tyree Pitts until those two go into that apartment?
yes,
And then all of a sudden, what turned into a fist fight, you see Sharif.
yes,
And is that why when Sharif came into your vehicle with him, you gave him what you consider a not gonna happen look?
yes,